I was asked to perform, I just gave it up, on the first Tea Party, on the Tax Day Tea Party of '09, the first one that she went. And I was invited by a gal by the name of Megan Barth. I say that because I've started to figure out something. I'm not that quick on the uptake, but every time I get invited to a tea party, I'm invited by a woman who happens to be a warrior. And that's what we are. We are a warrior class. We will be polite to you to the point of absurdity, but you start to take our country away from us, we are revolutionaries, and we are going to take this country back. When I went to my first tea party, I thought to myself, when I was at Tulane, I don't know if you've ever been in New Orleans, I didn't study too often. So my grasp on the finities of the Constitution are like this. If you've ever seen my bank account, fiscal responsibility, that's not my thing either. I'll learn, but I haven't yet. The one thing that I could bring to the table at the Tea Party, obviously not to talk about the Constitution, though I support it, especially the First and Second Amendment. I like how they tango together. What I could bring was the predictable fight against the mainstream media class that for 8 years under George W. Bush attacked this man and granted the enemies of the United States from within wide berth to dehumanize him to the point of being called a monkey, burning him in effigy. And they created an all-purpose bumper sticker that said, "Dissent is patriotic." I live in the west side of LA with all the Hollywood people, and I would see "Dissent is patriotic," and I thought, that's the most illogical thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Timothy McVeigh is not patriotic, okay? And that was dissent. What you say and how you say it is what matters, and you do not get wide berth to say whatever you want. But that's what Katie Couric had to say after 9/11. She said anybody in this country can say anything about the President of the United States, against Dick Cheney, and we allowed for this group of people to aggregate because we were too polite to them. And the second that Barack Obama was elected President of the United States, after us watching them organize, put up anti-Semitic signs at anti-war rallies, we said, you know what? We don't want this country to be taken over by let me say this in a euphemism, a democratic socialist. Fine, he's not a revolutionary in the sense of Che Guevara, but he is a socialist, 100%. And they have told you, you have no right to say that. Well, let's start saying it as loud as we possibly can. There's a new book coming out. I don't like reading that much. I like fighting the battle. This book by Stanley Kurtz is an academic look. It's coming out soon. I hope everyone buys this book because I read it on Continental coming in. This lays it out. You have no fear anymore when you call this man a socialist, because this guy is steeped in the socialist experiment in the United States of America, and they're never willing to say what they are. We are going to do it for you. He is a socialist. Say it loud, say it proud. And you know what socialists are when it comes down to it? They're thugs and bullies. And so while these punks on ABC and CBS called you guilty before you even got on the stage, said you were racist, that you were homophobic, Janet Napolitano even issued a report saying that you were violent on the verge of blowing crap up. Screw you, Janet Napolitano. You're the ones who blow shit up. Every time Bill Ayers blew stuff up. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to break news right now. There's a guy right now that attacks me on the internet. His name is Brad Friedman of the Brad blog. Brad, are you listening? Your partner was the Speedway bomber in Indianapolis that had he blew up 8 buildings back in the 1970s, went to jail for 10 years. And all of my enemies used this Brad Friedman as some type of a reputable source. You're palling around with terrorists too. They're the terrorists. They're the ones that, as they call you a racist, when you decide to go to a town hall meeting and say, Will you read the bill? I'm not going to read the bill. Can you explain to me what's in the bill? I'm not going to do that. By asking those questions, Barack Obama said, wait a sec. Our friends in the press are calling them racist, but these people still are coming out. We thought that we could use the Saul Alinsky tactic of calling them racist and all these things. And you guys kept coming out. And you've actually destroyed their matrix. Their ability to control the masses has happened because every single time they told you you were something you weren't, you said, Barack Obama and you bastard socialists, the game is over. The game is over. And if you think that this is about November, you've got something funny coming to you because the American people have awakened. This is a permanent condition. I promise you. I know it. Why? Because we now have the internet. In 1992, when Ross Perot had people signing people up, well, what did they do? Put it into a file folder? Okay. 1994, we get the Republicans in there and they become the problem. We didn't have the internet back then. Now we are engaged. And we finally realized what Rush Limbaugh, he wasn't lying to us. The first line of defense and offense for the organized left has been the mainstream media and Hollywood. And so we've declared war on them first and foremost.